The 12th Annual World Congress on Industrial Biotechnology, the world's largest industrial biotechnology event, is returning to beautiful Montreal, Canada in 2015. The Bio World Congress, linking chemistry, agriculture, and biotechnology to develop new value chains. So mark your calendar now for July 19 to 22nd, because this is the one event you cannot afford to miss. Join over 1,000 other high-level attendees from 700 companies and over 40 countries.
So, we work with all our clients, we encourage them to attend and to exhibit. We're exhibiting ourselves in 2014 for the second time. I'm sure that we'll be back in Montreal, and the Bio World Congress really is the event in the industry.
Top business executives, world-class scientists, biotech investors, and government policymakers, all stakeholders in building a vibrant, sustainable, bio-based economy.
Yes, we are excited about going to Montreal. It's a wonderful city. It has many great attractions. They're very supportive of life science conferences. It will be in the summer. It's going to be beautiful, so people can do business and also enjoy all the things that Montreal has to offer. So yes, we're very excited about next year.
The 2015 World Congress will feature 5 high-level plenary sessions and 8 breakout tracks, an exciting exhibit hall, and clean tech investor sessions, presentation of the prestigious George Washington Carver Award, and more than 1,000 one-on-one partnering meetings.
There's hundreds of companies here partnering. The partnering rooms, one-on-one here, I think we've had 40 meetings in 2.5 days on one-on-one meetings, and out of those 40 meetings, I'd say at least half are fruitful.
The 12th Annual World Congress on Industrial Biotechnology in Montreal. A great once-a-year opportunity to take your program to the next level.
Well, thanks for joining us here for our AgriPulse Washington Week in Review. I'm Spencer Chase, along with AgriPulse Senior Editor Phil Brasher, discussing the week that was in Washington. And Phil, the story this week, Trade Promotion Authority, not a lot of action in the public, but a fair amount of inside baseball on Capitol Hill happening on Trade Promotion Authority as folks are kind of squaring off, getting ready for it. It's cleared the Senate. Now, what's going on in the House of Representatives on Trade Promotion Authority?
Right, all the action is behind the scenes right now and has been this week. The Republican leadership has said that they will act on TPA, the Fast Track bill, this month, the month of June, but they haven't said when. Basically, they're waiting until they have the votes. So they've come back, and so all of the work is behind the scenes, both from the White House and from the Republican leadership and key committee chairmen and other key members who are working for Republican votes, and the White House, of course, is working to get as many Democrats as possible.
And so with this, Trade Promotion Authority is not a new concept. We've been talking about this for such a long time. And, if we've been talking about it, then I'm sure members of Congress are full well aware of what's going on with the situation. So why is it that they're still trying to get the votes? Why is it that there are still some members that haven't decided how they're going to fall on TPA?
Well, partly it's members who want to get something, want to get a commitment of some kind. Maybe they want a visit from a cabinet secretary or something. And be honest, it's a difficult vote in many districts. And most of your large agricultural districts, it's a no-brainer because most commodity groups see, particularly with Japan, and the prospects for having building your export business into Japan, it's just an easy vote. But for many other members, if they come from, especially if they come from a manufacturing area, it's a tougher vote. There are a number of conservatives who just don't trust President Obama. Their constituents don't trust him, and so they are holding out possibly for some commitments, or maybe they're not going to vote for the bill at all. We have about 17 Democrats have actually declared their support. With only 17, you need at least 200 or more Republicans. In fact, the House Minority Leader, House Democratic Leader Nancy Pelosi said this morning that Speaker Boehner is going to need 200 Republicans. Now, that may not be quite the case when the vote is taken. I was talking with Kurt Schrader, a Democrat from Oregon, who's a strong supporter of TPA, comes from an agricultural district out there, and he told me that he believes there will ultimately be 25 to 30 Democrats to vote for the bill. That means you need potentially fewer than 200 Republicans.
And outside of Trade Promotion Authority, this week, the first week that the House and Senate back in Washington after Memorial Day recess, so not as much legislative action as the typical week, because they're kind of just getting back into the swing of things. But I want to talk a little bit about the week prior, because we didn't do a week in review video because the chambers were not in town, but still quite a bit of action on the regulatory front, specifically from the Environmental Protection Agency. We saw some updates. We saw the final rule come out on waters of the U.S., and the proposed 2015, 2014, and 2016 standards, as well as biomass-based diesel standards for the 2017 renewable fuel standard. And so those were two regulations that a lot of people have been waiting on for a long time. And the RFS currently open for public comment. We expect to see that finalized by November 30th, in line with the consent decree that the EPA signed earlier. But with the Waters of the United States rule, or the Clean Water Rule, depending on what terminology you want to use, which agency you're listening to on this one. With that, the House has already acted on two separate forums, both in a standalone bill to repeal the rule and in an appropriations measure to block its implementation. Now, I believe both are being considered in the Senate. What do you see as the path forward in the Senate for waters of the United States?
Right. Well, sometime in the next couple of weeks, the Senate Environment and Public Works Committee is going to take up the Senate version of what passed the House recently. And that's a bill that would kill the Clean Water Act rule, the Waters of the U.S. WOTUS rule, as it's popularly known now, and set up a number of requirements that EPA and the Army Corps of Engineers would have to follow in order to propose a replacement rule. That expectation is that bill might be on the Senate floor as early as July. The problem there, Spencer, is that it takes 60 votes to really do anything in the Senate. So you're going to need some Democratic support for that bill to even move out of the Senate. Then you need at least 67 votes if the president veto it, and he will almost certainly veto this bill. You would need 67 votes in the Senate in order to overcome that. And right now, Republicans don't have a veto-proof margin even in the House. So there's a second part to the Republican strategy, and that is to get some kind of provision in the appropriations process that would at least delay implementation of this rule for the fiscal 2016, which starts October 1st. The House has passed such provision in its appropriations bill for the Army Corps of Engineers. The Senate hasn't done anything in this regard yet, but Republicans will almost certainly insist on putting something like that in whatever appropriations bill or bills eventually go to the president later this year.
So the rule is finalized, but its implementation is not. Quite a bit of action yet to come on Capitol Hill on that and many other issues, and we'll be sure to keep you informed on agripulse.com, as well as in our daily harvest emails and AgriPulse newsletter delivered every Wednesday morning. Be sure to stay in touch. For Phil Brasher, I'm Spencer Chase. Have a good one.